Morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on when you're viewing this video. I have two purposes that I would like to um, fulfill as I'm recording this. One is to introduce the new activity that is coming up this week, starting on Wednesday and moving on through Friday. Coming out of our 2-day project on one bad tweet from the athlete. We're going to be moving into a little bit more detailed, a little bit more work intensive project. With that said, because it's a little bit more detailed and work intensive, I'm going to make it due later in the day. I know you guys have other stuff going on with this distance learning and with your other teachers. So I'm going to try to give you guys a little bit more time because it will take you a little bit longer to complete these activities. Okay? So it is called the 2020 presidential election. It's a three-part project. The first will be looking at the candidates. So when you go into the Google Classroom, you go under classwork, or if you're going through the stream, you'll see it titled as this, the 2020 presidential election part 1 on the candidates. You open up the activity, and I know it says due at 3:15, but I'm going to be fixing that, so don't worry about it. I'll probably be making it due probably later in the evening, like around 7, maybe 8. The only reason why I don't want to make this a more of a by midnight kind of ordeal is partially because it will take me some time to grade it. So I want to be sure that I'm staying on top of it, getting you guys feedback if necessary, but also updating that grade book as best I can. So I am making it due most likely at 7 o'clock each day. All right. So you'll be looking at the primary candidates and looking at some of their campaign information. Responding to some questions based on the candidates. So as you can see, these questions are pretty substantial. And I'm asking you to be sure to be as complete as you can in your answers, okay? You will need to look into these links. You can't simply just go into this assignment and expect to answer the questions outright, okay? So make sure you do the research on that. That's why I'm giving you extra time to do this. All right, part 2 is going to be on the Democratic primary debates, and then part 3 will be on the party platforms. All right, so on Wednesday will be the candidates. Thursday will be Democratic primary debates, which is the one that probably will take you the most time, just to forewarn you. And then the party platforms, which is pretty substantial too. There's many steps to it. It won't be as time consuming, but there will be some steps that you need to follow. As you can see, it's quite detailed, so it goes a little bit down the wire here. All right, and you do have an attachment in that assignment. All right, so that's Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. All right, let's take a look at the schedule moving forward here really quickly. So just to review, we did our Sears, and we had that check-in assignment. So I want to thank you guys for your feedback on that. If you haven't given me feedback, please do revisit that check-in assignment. It isn't necessarily graded, but I am keeping tabs on people who are active in the Google Classroom during this time. So it doesn't necessarily affect your grade, but it does affect the overall interactivity of this class. Okay. We've just completed the one bad tweet, which was a 2-day assignment. And now we're moving into the 2020 election, which is this video, and then the next coming 3 days. Okay, that'll take us into next week, which will be an assignment on the president's men. And I just want to give you guys just kind of a short introduction to that really quickly, is that I am encouraging you to watch the movie All the President's Men. Unfortunately, it's really not available on Amazon or Hulu or Netflix or anything like that, unless you have some membership to some different streaming sites. It's going to be kind of difficult to find this movie, unless possibly you already own it or have it downloaded somewhere. It's not going to be pivotal to the assignment for you to watch the movie. It's a great movie. It was nominated for an Oscar, and I believe it might have won. I'd have to look into that a little bit further, but it's actually a pretty powerful movie and an account of the Watergate scandal. which will be based on these 4 assignments, what's going on in the Watergate scandal, and especially the influence and activity of journalism within that whole scandal. So this unit is going to be primarily focused on journalism as a nonfiction genre. Kind of what we did with the Sears and a little bit with the One Bad Tweet. There was a lot of journalism based in that. And now, as we're moving into the 2020 election, it's more, well, it's nonfiction. I wouldn't necessarily classify it purely as journalism. Um, More rhetoric based, I would say. So we're going kind of back and forth in this nonfiction. So anyway, just so you know, recap, there's the 2 things. One is the 2020 election project that we're getting started on. It's a 3-day project, okay? It's a little bit more time consuming, so be prepared for that. And then all the President's Men, which is going to be our next project. That will take us into the spring break and ultimately, for the most part, end our nonfiction unit before we go into composition. All right. So hopefully, if we haven't been updated necessarily yet, hopefully we'll be back in the classroom for our final unit. We'll see. If not, I'll obviously be adjusting to the long distance learning and to the assignments that I expect you to finish. All right. So once again, please reach out to me through the Google Classroom or even via email if you have any questions about these next 2 projects that are going to basically encompass the rest of this class up until Easter break. All right. So please let me know if you have any questions. And as always, stay safe, stay well, and God bless.